Ready or not, here I come now. Let's play hide and seek. Prepare to be caught. Here I come now. Let's play hide and seek. Riding on the playground, no mountains to make a sound. Round and round and round and round. No one wants to be first found.
Morning. Oh, I hope you guys are doing good. I am so sore. They had a garage sale, and it's just been, oh my god, I forgot how hard work they are. Anyway, there's a couple things I want to touch base on. And it's some things that have just like literally been popping up in videos I've been watching. They've been happening like at the garage sale. There's a bam in my head like crazy. And then, you know, Embree's been talking about these dates, you know, December 5th, 6th, and 7th, about Farley coming back into town and all that kind of jazz about that's how the warrant came with the DoorDash driver and all that kind of stuff. And that no other, you know, significant things happened, you know, during that time, whatever. Well, they did happen. They certainly did happen. James Curtis Leonard beat his wife up on the 6th of December and was in jail. And then that happened. That happened big time. And there's some stuff, you know, also that I feel are connected to that. Like when they found him, he was in the back room cutting himself. Really? Really. He had a green switchblade. In fact, when he came out, he had 2 in his pocket. And that's not the only thing when it comes to that family, in my opinion. And I'm going to get into that as well. But at this point, I want to read you this police report. But I also want to, so let me go back a little bit. So James Curtis Leonard was arrested on the 6th for he really did some damage to his wife. And not only to her, but to the daughter that rushed in to protect her. He hit her. And then there was at the house there was another daughter and her boyfriend, and their baby, who was like not even 1 year old. And so, you know, with him, the things that he was doing, I mean, he had his hands around his wife's throat. At one point, she couldn't breathe, thought she was going to pass out. She's got bloody nose. She's beat up. She went to the hospital along with the daughter and him, because he's cutting himself and saying that she's the one that did it. Well, she was on the phone with 911 when he was doing that. And that's a whole other thing. I'll get into that. I'll get into that report a little bit later. But I mean, I still have a garage sale I'm doing. And speaking of, so James lives in a trailer park out off Palouse River Drive, which is one of the definite areas where the car from the crime, this awful, awful thing that happened on that November 13th, we all know what that is. And that's one of the roads that it would directly go by, is the Palouse River Drive, that trailer park there. I think they even named it in the PCA, or in, you know, when they were asking for people to keep an eye out for, you know, this and that and roads that could have traveled down, the cars and all that kind of stuff. Well, the pathway that these cars are traveled on, that they're talking about, even the daughter mentions it in this recording that Sean Conan got for the Daily Mail. I don't remember exactly what day it was that he got this recording, but he talked to them, and James' wife and her daughter were just talking to this reporter, and they were talking about the events that happened to them on that particular day, on the 12th and the 13th. And it's too much. It's too much. And for people not to be connecting this is blowing my freaking mind. And also for Embree to not be bringing this into factor with everything else is also blowing my mind, because he actually, a video that I put up about the cars in this particular Palouse River Drive trailer park, he actually was really cool about it, put up a video of mine and actually gave me kudos for this, and about being one of the only people that is seeing what he's seeing, right? Well, but he's not seeing everything I'm seeing, because he's ignoring some of these facts. And these are facts. Okay, this did happen. It's documented. The guy was in jail. It's there. So are the connections so abundant that you just cannot deny it. I can't deny it. I don't know anybody else who could. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. So I have a friend who does tarot, right? And it was several months ago. And it was when things were like a little, like, it was just really quiet, and she's like, well, let's just see what's important in this case. What's something that's really important in this case? What should you be looking at, right? And so instantly, the first cards that came up were vehicles. She says, you need to follow the vehicles. You need to look at the vehicles. And that's where you're going to find what's going on. And I'm like, really? And it kind of already resonated with me, because if you guys know me, you know that I've got a freaking photo in my photo album. I have an actual folder that's called Cars. Because for some reason, cars, before she even talked about that, were popping up for me in weird spots, weird places, weird things that I just screenshot and kept a hold of. Some I wish I would have, some I didn't. But now I'm really definitely doing it whenever I possibly can. But that was the main thing, and I thank you for that. And that would happen to be Miss Maya. Love her to pieces. You guys, a lot of you guys know who she is, and she's just she's awesome, man. I tell you, she's such an awesome person. And I haven't talked to her for a while. She's been really busy, so have I, and it really bites. I miss her. We used to chat, and we never really, we would chat about Idaho4, but we never, it's interesting with us, because like the things that I would do, my videos and stuff would pop up, and then she would do a reading and this, and then, or vice versa. And it was so odd, because we never intentionally talked about anything about the Idaho4. Well, let me take that back. We did talk about it, but we didn't, use each other's, like, what we were talking about. Does that make sense? Like, what I was talking about was totally different than what she was talking about. And then, so that our conversation would be so long, because we had to get both of our ideas in there, and it was, neither one was thinking really the same thing, but we were thinking the same thing. It was really weird. But anyway, it was all totally organic, and everything, the way things always played out. But and that's another thing too. She never, like, when she would do her posts and stuff, it was never anything even similar really to what I was doing. It was really, really interesting. That's what's so cool about our relationship. And we just talk. I don't know her face to face, anything like that, but that's what's so neat about it, is that it's so comfortable, and just, it's there. That's what, that's how I feel about it. It's just really cool. But anyway, enough about us. But the car thing. So ever since then, right at first though, let me see. Right at first, it didn't grab me as much as it does now. Like, it does really big time now, because as the case goes on and things come out and people start connecting to other people that are definitely amongst the people in this whole thing, and there's a lot of them. You just can't deny that. There's a lot of them. And there's those people's people, right? And there's those people's cars, right? And there's those people's cars where they live and where they travel and how they get here and there and where they go when they go there and who they meet when they're there. Maybe on purpose, maybe not on purpose. Maybe it's just something that happens. This is what I'm talking about. So when he says no other incident, nothing happened of significance during this time, because apparently Farley was brought back from, and was arrested in Spokane, I guess, on the second that he was brought back to the Latah County Jail. Meantime, that's when this DoorDash warrant was popping up, and where they, got the warrant for the DoorDash, and that's where allegedly the car thing came in, and the Brian thing popped up, right? Well, like I said, that's not all that happened by any means. And I don't think it was just, and it's not just this date I'm looking at right now that we're both looking at, or we're all looking at. It's the dates before this, the dates after this, all of it. The dates before November 13th and what happened, and the patterns that evolve around these police reports. This one, I was shocked. I don't know if I've ever read this one before, but remember, there's things that have come out in this case. Like when I first started reading these, I didn't know about Linda Lane. It hadn't even popped up yet, right? And we didn't know about the actual vehicles. As we're going, these vehicles are coming more and more into our sights, and we're realizing what vehicles these are. I mean, just when JJJ, JJB or whatever, the one that was busted up there, same name as Emma's last name. When tell it to Elle, if you're not subbed, go sub to her. She got the seizing property type report of what they got from, when he was arrested. And these cars that are named on here are, well, you cannot deny it. You just can't. She's got a really good video on that, so go check her out. She's great. She's adorable. Anyway, the vehicles match those vehicles, and the connects between, the one he's talking about and with the one that's already been, arrested, and with the people in that town that are associated with these people that are in trouble. These cars are there, and they all seem to drive by, drive in, park there, whatever, in this trailer park. In my opinion. So one of the things that popped up one time, this is what Embree was talking about in my video, is that the red car, like this reporter talks about these two red cars that, or the reporter reports it because this is what the wife of James Curtis Leonard and the daughter told this reporter, that morning, two red cars, trailer across from them, the people that live there have two red cars and a blue truck or old truck or whatever. And they pulled in that morning and they were cleaning one of those red cars out with bleach and paper towels. And then that car left and was never to return. So then let's pop over to Kopacka. All right, let's pop over to that body cam. So that body cam, where the guy that called the 911 on Kopacka, he's with this other guy, and this other guy's driving a red car. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. Then Emma posts a blurb on her Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it, and it's of a red car that was wrecked. And she puts a funny little shark up on it over top of it, making it like the shark took a bite out of it or whatever. But it's a wrecked red car. Okay, now this red car that Emma posted about and the red car that was driven at the Kopacka thing, they look identical, in my opinion. So we've got that car. Then we've got the photos that I've screenshot. When I just was, I think when JLR did that thing about him, and I just kind of went and got on Google and looked kind of through just kind of drove through, if you with my phone, with my fingers, let my fingers do the walking, my driving through the park, and just didn't know anything or any person or anything in there, didn't have any faces, didn't even know about what the cars looked like. But I screenshot like certain things that just seemed odd to me. And come to find out, one of those red cars, later on, after this Farley thing gets brought up, I go in and I Google him just to see, what else is connected to him. And one of the things that pops up is an obituary. And it's been told that he got furloughed because of someone who was ill, really, deathly ill. So I clicked on it, and it was his dad. But it was the picture that caught my eye, very much so, because I recognized that person as someone that I had seen before somewhere. And so I popped over to my Palouse album, because it's a big one, and lo and behold, there is that particular, he's wearing the same shirt, that same hat, he looks exactly the same, and he is standing beside a red car that he looks to be working, fixing it or something. He's got the hood up, so he's like doing some mechanic type stuff on it. And I'm like, no way, you've got to be kidding me. I'm thinking, this is just wild. So I look a little bit more through this album, right? And then my car album, and all of the cars in Palouse. Well, guess what? The car that was driven, in my opinion, from the kopacka thing, the car that Emma posted, are there. This car's parked beside a trailer in the park. Now, these particular, the wife and the daughter were talking about this R40 trailer. So I went on Zillow, and just to look at where the trailer was, I wanted to see what it looked like. And they had pictures, a bunch of pictures of inside. And I have a couple different, 3, I think, maybe videos of it. And there were so many things in there that were so weird to me. Well, what mostly is that there was just one room that had stuff in it, and it was the closet. And everything, the way that was hanging was really interesting, because the hangers were not front ways with the hook over the back side. They were actually, you'd have to like turn the hanger around, go up underneath the rod, and hang it backwards so that the opening is towards you, which is, I've never seen anybody hang anything like that before. And all of it's like that, and it's all just totally pristine the way it's there. Very flamboyant colors, very festive. And then there's shoes laying on right outside by the front door on a mat, on a rug or whatever, so they're all lined up neatly. Everything's nice and neat. And there's a guitar case, no washer and dryer in the laundry room, but there's a guitar case laying up in there, which I thought was really interesting too. Well, at the garage sale yesterday, this thing just like bam in my head. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So periodically I would go out and I would go, things were hanging on clothes racks, right? I'd go take the excess hangers off of them. And just yesterday in particular, there was a lot of Spanish Mexican descent folks that came through. And every time I'd go out and get those hangers, they were hung up backwards on the racks. And it didn't dawn on me at first until later, till we were closed down. And I was like, wait a minute. What? Because it didn't happen once or twice. It happened a few times throughout the day. And I'm just wondering if that's a thing for the nationality to actually hang their hangers like that. If it's something they do, I don't know. I haven't even looked into it because we've got the garage sale again today, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just so tired. I don't even want to do it, but I committed. So we actually pushed it back a while, so we don't have to do it quite so early as we did it the other day. But that's 2 days. Oh, you guys, I'm so sore. And I've made like shit. I mean, I have like, it's like, oh my God. I'm just like 2 days out of my life. I could have done without this, but oh well. It's helping my friend, so that's good. She's making good money, so that's good. So, we've got the cars. Now, something interesting happened on that day on the 12th that the daughter talks about to this reporter. And that's that her boyfriend, who she is her baby's daddy, and his friends were being really mean to her and telling her she should just go out and blank herself. For one reason or another, why they were doing this, I don't know. So, I just woke up and I'm like, I literally just woke up. I was like, I gotta do this. I actually woke up from a nightmare. Oh my God, it was a terrible dream. And I didn't even know where I was when I woke up. I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? Okay, hold on a second. My mouth is dry. Probably sleeping with my mouth open. Probably why I was dreaming like that. So, she talks about how she was planning on going to a birthday party, I think, that night. And she was supposed to be the designated driver. But instead, since her boyfriend and his friends were being so mean to her and telling her to go unalive herself and just being horrible to her, she decided to go out and get hammered and cause a wreck. In her own words, this is what she says. And she did get in a wreck, but she blew out her front tire, annihilated the front of her car. Well, you guys, isn't that what happened in Pullman? Allegedly, that happened in Pullman. That's what happened to the vehicle. It blew out the front tire, the whole front part of it, on the passenger side, I believe. The timing of it, she talks about getting out of jail, when she went to jail, getting out of jail, what time and everything, and it all matches with the times that happened in Pullman. So did that wreck really happen in Pullman, or did it actually happen in Moscow? Now, that's not all, because she also talks about when the reporter's asking them, well, how close is that, when they're talking about the red car being bleached out by these two guys, well, how far is that from here? I mean, she's like, oh, it's not very far at all. I mean, it's like a 10-minute walk, drive is like, 2 minutes, if that. And the daughter perks up and says, yeah, it's so close. I was looking at getting, renting an apartment over there. And I mean, there's some things underlying in that recording that you really have to listen to. I've listened to that thing probably 10, 12, maybe 15 times now. And every time I hear something different. Because at one point, the Sean guy, when they're talking about the red car, Sean, the reporter, asks about the white car. And the daughter starts saying something, but the mother interrupts her and doesn't let her speak. And you can't tell what it is. I mean, I've tried my darndest, but he basically says, well, what about the white car or something like that? And then she perks up and starts saying something, and then the mom stops her, right? Because the mom says, well, this is our alibi. This is our alibi for where we were. And that's one thing that she says right at the very beginning that's very suspicious, in my opinion. Okay. Sean then asks her, did you send it to, call the tip line? Oh, yeah. Well, what happened? Well, the FBI called the FBI and they didn't, nothing happened. Nobody showed up. Nobody, whatever. Then I guess the MPD was out there at one point. Yeah, I'll link the video. I'm going to actually do a video just on that. But so if you want to wait, so be it, because I'm going to definitely do it. All right. So you've got this. I'm not going to have enough room for this. I know I'm not. I didn't expect to talk this long for this. God dang, I do that every time. Okay, let me just force through this part right here. So she's talking about their alibi. This is their alibi for where they were. And that now they've got her husband arrested and they're trying to say that he's the one that committed these crimes. And he did not do this. Don't go there, because what he did 10 years ago was he was young and dumb, and he'll be the first to admit that. He's a good guy. And then the daughter perks up and she says something like, yeah, he does everything he does for us. And the way she said it was so, scripted. Like, so scripted. I was like, what? And that's always sounded scripted. No matter how many times I hear it, it does not sound right. It sounds like it was like mom. They talked about it. I don't know. It was weird. So, this guy, the daughter has depression. I guess the other daughter, who's younger than this other daughter, has depression. And while they were talking, the other daughter just pops up out of nowhere. She had run away, and she just decided to show back up again. I think she's like 15 years old. So then you got this other girl that's talking with her mom, who's like 20, who just turned 20, had just turned 21 as of this, I think. Anyway, it all resonates with this person from Pullman, Carmen, who allegedly got in the wreck in Pullman, right? It's like, are they the same people? I mean, even right to the point where Carmen says something about, because it was Parents' Weekend right over there in Pullman, and she says something about her parents not understanding, or they won't like it, and I just thought that's interesting because of her parents, right? Or maybe not her mom, but Curtis is in jail, right? And at this point, when they're doing this interview, he's in jail. He'd already, beat her up, and he was sitting in jail on a $100,000 bond. 10 years prior, what they were talking about is that he killed somebody. He shot him 3 times. The first one was the fatal shot. The other 2 after that were unnecessary, since the first one was fatal. So why he did those other 2, I don't know. And they were in very interesting places. One was in the leg, right up next to where the groin would be, and the other one was directly in the face. And then he tried to hide the body. He got a shovel out and actually tried to get his neighbor to help him. Not only that, but he moved the vehicle. The wife, she says, "Did you move the vehicle?" He said, "Yes." "You need to move it back. It's tampering, right?" So we went back out and moved the vehicle back where it was. I mean, the whole thing was just weird. He got no time for that, basically. So that's when Sean asked her, "Well, do you know cops?" Yeah, I know a couple cops. And that's when she starts discussing that every Thanksgiving and every Christmas, her and her family cooks up Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner for the sheriff's department and the MPD, and delivers it to them for their holiday meal while they're working. And in the annual report, MPD annual report, there's a photograph of her and Leonard standing there in their COVID mask. There's your mask right there. And guess what? That guy's got some bushy eyebrows. Yeah, he does. I just sounded like Drip Drop right there. And I just moved my head like Drip Drop. Yes, he does. And my head's tilted and my chin's jutted out. Why I did that, I have no idea. But I did. And I'm just letting you guys know. So, yeah. And the cops are holding these plates that are covered in foil of what I suspect was probably turkey or ham, depending on if it was Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever. So yeah, she's feeding bellies in there. She's feeding the officers. And guess who? And get this. Guess who James's attorney was? None other than Little Miss Babbitt. Every time I say that name, I think of an orangutan's butt, a monkey butt. I just do. I don't know. All right. And so, not only that, but the responding officers that went there to the scene are two different officers, but who wrote the report up? None other. The report was written up by Rosendahl, one of the cops in Banfield. The flashlight shiner onto the body cam. And then he went to the Identity Apartments, and then, his favorite line is, "So how much have you had to drink? How much did you really drink?" "No, that's not right. Now tell me the truth. How much did you really drink?" "Okay, officer, I remember the script. 8 to 10. Yeah, that's right, boy. How many shots did you have?" I mean, just, Why did he write the report up when he wasn't even there? So another thing that's really weird, that you really, really, really have to listen to, is that when Sean is doing this interview, right in the beginning. It's not on this interview on Sleuth. It's on Sleuthy's channel. It's she linked it in the description, the full video, the full interview. And so part of it's not in there. And so it's in this other interview that's in the description. And in the description, if you listen to that, right in the beginning, you hear Sean say Nathan or Nathaniel. Nathan, I think he says. So he's got somebody with him, apparently, that you have to listen so closely. Every once in a while, you'll hear something directed towards whoever is with this Sean reporter guy. And one of the times was her, when she was saying about her husband committing that crime 10 years ago. And she's talking not to Sean, she's talking to somebody else. And she's like, no, you don't go there. And like go there, like as in saying that he is, was, part of that whole horrible thing that happened on the 13th. And so she's directing it to somebody else, right? So I'm thinking it's got to be whoever Sean called Nathan. Is that Nathaniel Rosendahl? I mean, why would the cop be going around? Why would they be saying these things to a reporter, especially if the reporter knew he was with the cop, and if the people, that there's a cop with the reporter? I mean, it's just weird. The whole thing's just weird. There's way more, but I'm going to have to check this video and make sure I've got this part up, and you guys might have to wait to the next part of this, because literally I got a garage sale set up, and I did not plan on doing this long, just talking like this. In fact, I was just going to make a video of that, what I'm just talking about now. I'm so sorry. There's so much in my head I want to talk about. In the last 2 days, I haven't had a chance. And the more I'm able, there's little spurts where you get to think when the garage sale's at a kind of a lull, and my brain's just like wants to go to my phone and start doing research. I mean, it's just crazy. I just can't wait to get it all wrapped up so I can just, start looking at the things that are connecting with me just during the day, the things I'm thinking about, and some of the things I've been hearing on videos. Now that's a whole other story, and they're not even videos about this case. They're coming from other places. And they're just random videos that are popping up in my feed, and they'll like either go on a auto play or whatever, and I'll listen to part of them, and I'll hear something in them, or they're people I've listened to before, and I'll just listen to, like Stephanie So. I love her. In fact, one of her reminds me of Mabbit. One of her channels is Mango Butt, and because that's, I guess, her husband's last name. It's her last name or something. Anyway. So there's Rotten Mango, there's Mango Butt, there's Stephanie So, which is SOO. She tells stories. She reads books, and true stories. A lot of them are from China and Korea and things like that, and they're gnarly. Man, I'm telling you what. You think it's bad over here? Whew, man, I tell you, it's crazy. This world's so crazy. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna double check, and hopefully this took. Oh, please pray this took. Okay, I love you guys. I will get back to you. I promise. I'm not going to leave you hanging. Trust me. I got to get this out. Okay, love you. Bye.